The book of Genesis, chapter 47, and verse 15, and it reads, "And when money failed in the land of Egypt, which America, Babylon the Great, aka America, is the modern day Egypt." It says, "And in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians," which this red Hebrew Edomite, so called white man, is the modern day Egyptian. Isaiah 19 and 19. It's like Isaiah 19 and 2. It says, "All the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth." I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to God, Elohim, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Kadosh B'Katham. Say double honor to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more so than ever. Say shalom to the Akim and the Akwatha, to the listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners. Say shalom. It's Brother Yahweh out of the gym. That's Cleveland Church, a fellow servant. And I'm coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And basically, this lesson is in regards to this article. Basically, I'm going back to the basically. This article I saved on my I got from my Newsbreak app. About the money. We living in times where, money is failing. That's why you got inflation. The power of the dollar is weaker because that's why it costs more money to buy things because the dollar's not strong. So that's money failing. But it's going to be a time when it's going to ultimately fail where the money ain't going to be worth shit. And that's why they basically trying to usher in a new system, this digital dollar. I'm going to get another scripture before I read the article. And we watching these times, we living in them, we know about the Silicon Valley Bank, and, but what they're not telling you is other banks that failed. And then, I've been following these keepers of the house, these economists, and, you got a lot of banks that's like insolvent. And when you go into insolvent, basically they can't pay their bills. They're broke. I don't know what the Lord going to do, You got a whole bunch of situations where they talk about, the government could go shut down, but they talk about increasing benefits. It's a lot of shit going on. You got Taiwan being surrounded by China, and America's allies with China. So who's to say what's about to happen? The Lord is making it very interesting. So, scriptures also say peace and safety. So I don't, all we can do is sit back, watch, and wait. Scripture in Psalms 46 says, the Most High tells them to be still. It doesn't mean to just sit on your ass, but to be patient. That's what it is. It ain't talking about being lackadaisical, not wise. To say to be patient, to wait on the Lord, basically. But this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 2, and it reads. Well, I'm gonna start at verse 1 because I just brought up that point about not just sitting back on your ass, but you supposed to be watching. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads, "I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables." The vision is the prophecies, that he may run that read of it. And one of the prophecies is the money failing. I read it in Genesis, but it's going to be another time when the money fails, now, because they're going to bring in a digital system. Revelations tell you about the money failing. I'm going to get that too. It says, make it plain upon tables that he may run that read of it. For the vision, the prophecy is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. So, it's a certain time that the Most High Yahweh, the Father, Abanawa, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has set up for these things to come to pass. It may start or seem like it's moving and it slows down. Like the elder Apostle Tahar, the beloved elder, coined this year, the hopeful year of all the prophecies being fulfilled. And we've seen a lot of prophecies be fulfilled this year. But we waiting on this one major prophecy, personal testimony. I had always remembered, I was hoping to get certain situations in order so I can, get a few pieces of silver. Because the thing is this, silver is not going to save you. In actuality, if you're thinking you're going to be Book of Eli and it with silver, you're probably delusional. Because the thing is, when the money fails, all it is going to be like a little, not even a nest. Because, but it can, like you say, it can help, but ultimately, scriptures talk about like cast the silver and the gold in the streets. You know what I mean? So, money is ultimately not going to save you, but at the same time, if you can buy an extra bag of rice, it's better to have than not have. If you know the dollar is not worth shit, shouldn't you basically have something that may be worth something? You got stores right now. I know in the neighborhoods I frequent and pass through, you got the corner stores. Ishmael got those signs, "We buy gold." Why do you think they do that? Because gold is never going to lose its value. It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. It looked like they starting and stopping, starting and stopping. But it's the scriptures talk about how the Most High is a man of his word. He cannot lie. Everything that's written will be fulfilled. I forgot where that scripture is at. It says verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Whose soul? That's Esau, Edom's soul, because he's a proud man. He's not, he talks about who can make straight, who the Most High made crook. But the just shall live by his faith. And who is the just? The elect. Just is synonymous with being righteous, upright, And the scriptures tell you that the wicked are not upright. Verse 5, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, meaning his philosophies, because this man pushes the whole ideology of, live as or do as thou wilt, and homosexuality and all these different, philosophies that's basically against the scriptures. That he's the Antichrist. He's against Yahushua. He's against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Verse 5, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he's a proud man. Neither he keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires hell. This man is covetous. He want everybody land. Although the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, set up every nation to have their own land. Their own area. This devil want everybody land, and he want to be in your land to tell you how you should move in your land. It's funny because he telling the world to accept this ideology of a man with a man and a woman with a woman. When you got nations that consider weaker and more primitive than he is, this devil's nation, but they looking at him like, what the fuck wrong with you? And it's all being exposed right now. It talks about that in Isaiah 47 about his skirt is lifted up. Verse, it refers to Babylon the Great, aka America's like a woman. Women wear skirts. But shit, if you ever go scroll through the internet, you'll catch times where you look like men wearing dresses and purses. This is how fucking bugged out this place is. I've seen images where it looked like LeBron wearing a skirt and wearing a purse. I remember Javante Davis, he walking around with that bag and it looked like a purse. But men they so blinded, it's so deep to me, you know what I mean? Then you got that Izzy Alessandra, or whatever, however you pronounce his name, that Jake. But I wasn't really rooting for him, you know what I mean? And I wasn't rooting for the other guy, but a lot of people say that he might be Esau. He don't fight like E. And at the end of the day, some of the shit he said, I could agree with. He said a woman should be in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? He may, he called himself white trash or whatever, but but that dude, Izzy, paints his nails. He the same dude that humped on that Jake back. Remember that? Pumped him in the ass. But because Jake, we know, if anything, you should be more mad at Jake being wicked. I've heard brothers say shit, they gonna jump over Esau to get to Jake. It says, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Because Jake should know better. Innately, Jake knows not to, eat raw meat and do certain shit. Jake ain't gonna really pop his woman on her cycle. But though you got certain wicked ass Jake that promote that shit. I remember Lil Wayne said, shit, he gonna eat the pussy on her period type shit. Like, yeah. And he promoting and pushing it and just fucked up. You know what I mean? This old weird ass vibration. Verse 6, the point. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So when you go in that word clay is a batya, and when it breaks down to it, break down to debt. And the dollar note, the US dollar, this measurement of money is a debt note. And that's why all these countries are suffering. I was just talking to I put it in the group chat because I've been through the spirit following these different economists, and they talk about China's in a real estate bubble, but just so happens America's is too. And it's funny because you got America trying to emulate the model of China of how they got all the citizens in check. you know, with that social credit system, and like that's how they want the system set up over here. You know, the difference is a lot of people gonna die because a lot of people ain't gonna be giving up their arms. This shit gonna be a bloody bloodbath, and that's the spirit because brothers was just talking about something in the group chat, and the brother made mention of like yeah, it's gonna be fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, it's gonna be really that purge. So with that being said, I'm gonna bring out a little bit of the article. It says Insider Today. It says big banks are screwed. This post originally appeared in the Insider Today, almost to the weekend, changing from what is this? It says almost to the weekend, changing phone charges is already a massive headache, but now you have USB. What's that? Speaking of shocks, that's how he start the article off. So this is probably an opinion piece. He talking about basically how iPhone got a new like cord to plug in, but now you have the bonus of electrocuting your new iPhone 15 if you use the wrong USB-C plug-in. That's funny because that's probably another way for them to make money. These motherfuckers don't gotta make shit complicated the way they do, or they can make things simpler. Like you said, it's known fact that they've had people come up with inventions of how to make a car that can run off of other things besides gasoline. So why do they utilize it? Because you got people that got money invested in these things. Speaking of shock, Citigroup announced a massive overhaul on Wednesday that'll reportedly lead to job cuts. So that's, Ecclesiastes 12 is the latest example of the pressure big banks are under to keep their place atop Wall Street. More on today's big story. What's on deck? Markets. It says Citigroup shuffle. Ready or not, changes are coming to Citigroup. The bank announced a massive overhaul Wednesday that'll reduce management layers and almost certainly lead to job cuts. And if they starting to cut from the top, it's going to definitely go down to the bottom. You know what I mean? I was listening to the guy John Williams, and he was going into how in California you got the restaurant employees demanding $20 an hour, so they about to make them have to pay them $20 an hour. Well, what's that's going to lead to? It's basically going to lead to those people being losing their jobs and being replaced by AI. He was going into how you got a fully functioning autonomous restaurant in Houston, and he was going into the math of it, like you're gonna make more money with that autonomous because you ain't got to worry about being sued or people not coming to work or just all these different things that affect your profit when you got a machine that can run 24/7. It says Insider's Jennifer Sorer has more on the reorg, deemed by CEO Jan Frazier as the most consequential change to Citigroup in nearly 20 years. So they about to get rid of a lot of people and probably close a lot of like brick and mortar banks. Citigroup is pitching the move as a way to simplify its structure. Case in point, Frazier said the changes eliminated 35 committees. Changes like that are bound to ruffle some feathers. Yeah, so and they just see how quickly this all ushering into, showing you how like the Laura Cole, though with Terry, look how fast it's coming out. I can imagine how excited the elders are to see these different things because they've put so many years and so much dedication behind this. So I can see them really toasting at the end, really jumping for joy, really being happy. Because I feel like I'm going to be like that through the Spirit, Lord willingly, when that come. I remember, like I said again, I was hoping to get, we get to at least get the income tax a did, so I could buy certain little things. But now I'm to the point, I'm hoping this shit go this year. I don't think it's going to be this year, though. Brother may have mentioned or something like a couple years ago, and it was a younger brother too, but he was all the way in the Spirit, and he said, at the end of the day, America means bitter, so of course the end is going to be bitter. People about to suffer. Scriptures talk about the Most High bringing great miseries. It says, to be fair, Frazier's tenure has been an uphill battle. She inherited plenty of headaches from her predecessors, so the banking industry was already taking a beating. And like I said again, when you understand our whole financial system is all interlocked and is all fucked, why do you think that they basically got provisions in there where the banks can take your money? But banks retrenchment could just signal an opportunity for others to fill in the banks. fill in the gaps. Whether it's fintechs or so-called shadow banks, there's no shortage of players looking to offer services previously dominated by big banks. That could be a welcome change, but there are risks to moving these services outside the walls of a highly regulated institution. And they already lightweight putting it out there, like basically the way that the financial system is operating is about to change. You know, you got certain banks that's kind of thriving. You got like your Chimes and Cash Apps because they already made those moves prior. They probably are. You don't know who these people is that came up with this concept. Why would you just come with a concept of, oh yeah, we just gonna start an online bank? Like Chime is a completely online bank. Even big banks, even the big bank having the best year, JP Morgan isn't completely happy. CEO Jamie Dimon recently he wouldn't be a big buyer of a bank in reference to proposed regulations requiring big banks to keep more money on the sidelines. And he said he wouldn't even be trying to deal with banks because of the simple fact, now, like I guess the Fed is making them whole. So the whole fractional reserve banking whole industry is they're allowed to loan 10 times, upwards of 10 times of what they actually possess. So if they got $1 million, they can loan up to 10 million. They don't have to actually have the physical money in the bank. So now that they're being required to have that money in the bank and they don't have it, the people don't have money and they're making their money and profits off the people. Yeah. I'm trying to see some of those. Inflation is sticking around. Stock picks for bears and bulls. Bank of America analysts believe the economy has turned the corner and identified 50. I don't believe that one. There's a lot of shit in this article. Hidden fees are about to get a lot more hidden. The recent push to eliminate junk fees mean they're now folded into the upfront price, making it even harder to see them. Some workers are super commuting to avoid moving. So this is like a whole bunch of information. General Motors, Stellantis, and 4 auto workers could go on strike, which that's a big thing. I think they were talking about doing that yesterday. Walking out could drive up inflation, push Michigan into a recession, and even hurt Biden's reelection. I might say this because there's a lot of information here. So, I mean, again, and then this is a CEO of a major bank, you know what I mean? And he telling you right now, you know, because of the inflation, because they created the inflation when they printed all that money, because the money really ain't worth or backed by nothing. So the title, Big Banks Are Screwed, because the money is worthless. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 6, and the point is verse 6, and it reads, and I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou not hurt the oil and wine. So when you go in that word penny, the word penny is a denarius. And a denarius, or denarius, containing 10, a Roman silver coin in New Testament time. It took its name from it being equal to 10 asses, a number after 207 BC increased to 16. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages. So if you go into history, the ancient Roman Empire, which is America, Babylon the Great, is the modern day Roman Empire. What they did, because they had a form of inflation, they would start weakening the coin. They would mix the coin with lesser metals. So, you know, that's when inflation kicked in. And that, you know, the things that we're seeing today is things that plagued the ancient Roman Empire. You know what I mean? So, you know. So the money's so weak, it's going to take a day's wage to buy bread. I'm going to end it with this because, again, the banks are screwed because the money is failing. This is James chapter 5 and verse 1, and it reads, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your misery shall that. Salakia, let me start this all over. James chapter 5 and verse 1, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Verse 2, your riches are corrupted because they're worthless. You know, the money is corrupt. And your garments are moth-eaten, you know. You know, your righteousness. You know, the scriptures talk about the love of money, you know. And it talks about how what's that in Ecclesiasticus? It talks about how buying and selling, sin sticketh close between with buying and selling. You know, because you'll have individuals that'll do some corrupt or wicked shit to make money. Verse 3, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped riches, like ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. And you know, we in the last days right now. You know, we waiting on the final days, but we in the last days. The riches that people think they have are not true riches. Scriptures tell you in the book of Matthew that store up your treasures in heaven. You know, so you seek out these heavenly riches. You know, this knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding, because a man of understanding is going to be, you know, a hiding place. A man of understanding, a spiritual man, a man of Yahweh Shem Shah is going to be a commodity, the precious commodity. He's going to be liking on the gold and silver, these precious metals, bronze. And all these 2/3 ass niggas and these heathens that, you know what I mean, that trusted in Babylon the Great, you know, they're going to be the fodder. They're going to be wood and stubble. They're going to be for the flame, for the fire, because the oven is being prepared now. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, to the statutes, and to the commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to God, Yahweh, Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Kudash Bakatam. I say double honor to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. I say peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, for whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Salakia, to you I say shalom. Until next time I'm able to come with another lesson, I'm going to say shalom, shalom, and mawat lababah, shalom.